Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 2 of SOC170 Intro to Criminal Justice. I just want to take a couple minutes to touch base about how the class is going thus far. I think that everyone is doing a great job overall within the course. You guys are getting your stuff done on time, you're getting it turned in, you're getting your responses done. You really jumped right in and you're doing well. That's to every one of you, so good job on that. I do also want to talk a little bit about our exams and our discussion boards. So I'll start with the discussion boards. Like I said, I think everybody's doing a really good job with those as far as getting them in and getting them done. But now that we're getting into the course a little bit more, I know that this is a quick pace course, but now that we're starting week 2, I think that it's a good idea to start paying attention more to what the requirements of your discussion boards and your discussion board responses are. So if you're looking at the rubric that is used, that I use to actually grade you on your discussion board post, you're looking at 5 different categories. You're looking at if you initiated a discussion with your initial thread, if you have posted your original response, your initial thread on time, the quality of your follow-ups of your responses, your use of references and supports, and the actual mechanics, the spelling and grammar of your posts. I think that, again, overall, we're doing good, especially with those first 2 areas as far as making sure that you're answering all parts of the question and getting your initial thread posted on time. It's the last couple things that we're kind of a little bit shifty on between all of us. So with the quality of your follow-ups, you want to be sure that you're following up in a way that might be able to continue the discussion further rather than just an agreement or just a statement about what the other person posted. One of the easiest ways to get better follow-up question or to get better follow-up responses is to utilize questions. I know that I said that before in the announcement, but I really want to reiterate it. If there's something that that reading someone else's discussion board kind of triggers for you in your mind, go ahead and talk about that in a response to them. If you agree with them, really flesh out why. Is there a specific reason? Is there something that, yeah, you agree with them overall, but, this point I'm a little bit iffy on? I know that's harder to do with some of these questions for the discussion boards because they seem like they're pretty cut and dry. Your answers can be cut and dry and just answer the actual question of the discussion board, but utilize your responses to show that you're really using your critical thinking and that you understand the material. As far as references and support, I think overall we're doing that well as well. Make sure, though, that you're using APA format when you are completing your references. And if you are going to utilize a reference, make sure you have a references section, a citation section where it's actually completely spelled out. Can't have one without the other. You can't use a quotation within your discussion board post or use a citation and reference it. Referencing something within a post without actually having the references section where you fully got that information. I am seeing a little bit of utilizing outside materials separate from just the textbook in your references section, and I think that that's great. That's perfect. Shows that you're trying to get more information and that you understand how the material actually applies to outside of this class and outside of the reading. So that's always encouraged. Last but not least, mechanics. I think, again, overall, we're doing a good job. Just make sure that we're double checking our posts before we post them, see if there's any typos, any misspellings, if our citations are done correctly, if we're not grammatically correct within our writing. That hasn't been a big deal at all. If I notice it, I will try to point it out. If I catch it, I will definitely try to point it out and say, hey, don't forget, check on those mechanics. Don't take it personally. I'm just trying to help you guys out so you're not getting points off later in the class for things that are really, really simple, and that shouldn't be a big deal. So yeah, overall, again, good job on those. Just a couple notes on the discussion boards. when it comes to exams, exams are going to be available for the last 3 days of each module. So that means our first exam is coming up at the end of this week. Exams will be available from 12:01 a.m. on the date that they open until 11:59 p.m. on the date that they close. So exam 1 will be available from 12:01 a.m. on Friday on 9/6 through 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. The exam is 100 questions, multiple choice. You have 90 minutes to take the exam, and you have to use the Respondus Lockdown browser. So if you haven't already had an opportunity to download that, there is a link to it in the announcements page on the front of the actual, on the home page for the actual class here on Blackboard. If you do have any questions about the exam, if you're concerned about anything, if you're concerned about your grade after you take it, or you have questions after you take it, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, you can reach me through text message or through email, whichever is more convenient for you, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible so we can talk about it. And I'm more than willing to work with everybody here and be able to help them out so we can make sure that you're getting the grade that you deserve within this course, because I believe that every single one of you deserves and will be able to earn an A in here, and I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't. So please, communication is key. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Now that we are in the second week of the course, we are starting chapter 3, or you guys should be reading chapter 3 of the material. Chapter 3 briefly covers basically the entire basis of criminal law, both the substance and the procedure of criminal law. So there's a lot of information packed into this one chapter, and just like every other portion of this textbook that we're reading, there are entire classes dedicated, multiple classes dedicated just to understanding criminal law. So there's going to be a lot of information in here, probably some stuff that you guys have already heard of, terms that you've already heard, things that you've already known, but there should be a fair amount of material that if you haven't really studied this before, you're not going to know all of this information. The big thing that I want you to take from this chapter of the reading is an understanding of why criminal law works the way it does, how it is procedurally set up to work the way that it does in the United States, and what impacts that has when you're trying to do any type of reform, what impacts it has on the actual procedure of court proceedings, and looking at the entire criminal justice system as well, looking at how it impacts how police do their jobs, what it's like in court, and what is required from corrections. So give yourself, don't beat yourself up too much about this chapter. Give yourself some time to really process it if you can, because like I said, it's a lot of information. There's a lot of technical information that you're going to get in this chapter that there are already full courses dedicated to. So don't worry too much about it. So there are 4 categories, just to briefly touch on some more information. There are 4 categories that the law is and divided into. You have substantive law, civil law, procedural criminal law, and administrative or public law. Understanding the differences between these can really help you see how laws are developed, how they're codified, and of course develop a deeper comprehension of how these laws are actually upheld within the United States. So looking at this, you'll be able to better understand and see why the constant evolution of law and how the reforms that regularly occur within criminal and civil law here in the United States have their impacts throughout the entire system. One good thing to look at, I know it's brought up in the book, is just looking at marijuana reform. How does this actually impact the federal law when states are passing state laws saying that it's either decriminalized, it's legalized for recreational use, whatever it might be. So keep some examples in mind as you're actually reading through this, so you can have a better understanding of how each part of the criminal justice system is impacted when you're looking at changing something within criminal law. If you have any questions about this week, again, please feel free to reach out to me. I won't keep you any longer on your Monday off. And I hope you guys are out there enjoying the day today, as I hopefully am about to as well. And we will be talking later in this week. Thank you so much. Have a good one.